Welcome back to the Cave Boys Fantasy Football Podcast. Tonight we've got Warmaster Cly, Fuzzy Frank, Bobcat Decimates, and the 101 at the commissioner position is Zane. How you doing, Zane?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right, we prepared some questions for Zane and also for Bobcat and any others who want to answer. Start with the first one for Zane. What are your favorite sports?
Whoa. I think it's probably pretty obvious, but I love some football. American football, obviously.
Obviously.
None of that European garbage, but I occasionally when football's not on, I'll watch a little bit of basketball, a little bit of hockey, and if I'm trying to take a nap or something, I'll put on a baseball game. But no, I appreciate it. I had COVID like a week and a half ago. I turned on that Mariners game and I instantly fell asleep, and I woke up feeling better. So
it cured you. Baseball cures COVID.
it puts me to sleep so fast. Better than NyQuil.
It is pretty snoozy.
Oh no!
Ain't that
I remember
true?
it was like I remember watching one of the only baseball games I've watched the whole game was like last year. I think it was maybe the playoffs, and like that 18-inning game with the Mariners.
That sucked.
And I don't know why that was the one I chose, but
that was a good game until it ended and we lost.
It was interesting. It was like a car crash.
If we had won, that would have been amazing.
2 games in one. That's the beauty of baseball. It can never end. You can have infinite baseball. That's what makes it so good.
What we really need.
That's why you need a football until the players just collapse.
Oh yeah.
Any other favorite sports among the crew?
Women's volleyball.
Whoa. I mean, I enjoy playing volleyball, but if I'm going strictly off of what I want to watch, football all day.
Well, you won't
Hold it.
Bob. Trust me.
Watch as my fantasy players destroy Fuzzes.
That's always a good time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Football for me as well, of course, but I don't know if it's considered a sport, but esports.
Whoa.
Oh man.
I like car soccer, Rocket League. I don't really like regular soccer, but for some reason I like watching the car soccer, so
Rocket League is superior, so you're not wrong there.
Car soccer way better than regular soccer.
Exactly.
I'd watch real car soccer. I don't know about fake car soccer. But...
Real car soccer would be amazing.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to the next question. What kind of car do you drive? Start with Zane.
So I'm actually sitting in my car right now because my internet at home is down, and I'm sitting in my BMW 335i.
Oh, okay.
With a manual. Got to have that 6-speed.
Wow.
And yeah, it's a fun time.
Nice. The winner of the league should get your car or a ride in your car.
Anytime.
Have a joyride in the car.
Well, that would never happen.
Yeah.
I know. Bobcat and I, we have that Corolla or Toyota Corolla. My bad.
Oh yeah, I got the 2018 Toyota Corolla LE.
Nice. Yeah, mine's the 2020.
Yeah.
We pretty much have the same car.
You and Bob have the same car.
Yeah.
Just about.
The Bobcat knew a nice car and he got it. Right, Cat?
Yeah, that gas mileage is amazing.
Yeah.
What is it, Bob?
Like 35 miles per gallon.
God damn, that's good.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I got a Ford Escape. I take a drive when I want to get out of the house and escape,
What happened to the Cougar?
So I had the Cougar, but it started to have some issues.
The Cougar is iconic.
It had a blown head gasket, and it cost too much to fix it for the value of the car, so got rid of it. And then we had a Crown Vic, and it had some issues after a couple years as well. So now we got the Escape. It's a good drive.
Nice.
Drove it down to California recently and back. Pretty good.
Wow.
Cool. All right. Also, I have a would you rather question. I'll start with Zane.
Man.
Would you rather never be tired or earn $50 every hour you sleep?
I thought about this one for a little bit, but I crunched the numbers, and $50 an hour if you sleep 8 hours a day, it's like 150 grand a year.
Oh,
So I'm probably gonna take that because then and then it's like if I am tired, I can just go to sleep and make even more money.
yeah, nap time for overtime. Yeah.
Yeah, so even just give me a lot of time to do other stuff, and so I'd get a good night's sleep and hopefully never be tired anyway.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
That's the optimal thing.
I feel like if we were an athlete, we would take the never be tired just for like more training and stuff. BOP maybe, but
That's the try hard thing.
yeah. What about you, Kat? What did you think about it?
I mean, Zane took the easy answer.
Yeah.
The better answer,
Here we go,
of course, is to just never be tired. Because if you're never tired, think of all the things you can do.
True.
All
Broke
the
all the time.
countless adventures.
Just play video games all night, Survivor all night, and never get tired.
All night.
I did
You
have
never
a question
have
on
to
that
sleep.
question though.
Okay.
It says never be tired. Does that mean you never need to sleep though? Because your body still needs sleep. So that was part of the.
No, it's both.
Well.
Never need to sleep, never be tired. Neither one.
Yeah. You never have to sleep.
There's a difference though.
True. And this question is just kind of it's both. But yeah, I get you.
I mean, if you're like a super motivated person and you want to work a bunch and like better yourself, never sleeping, it's probably pretty powerful. But if you just kind of want to relax,
Yeah,
coast on 150K a year, seems
For sure.
pretty good.
definitely.
The easy answer.
But Bobcat, you're going with never be tired?
Exactly.
Nice.
Living my best life.
I'm going to the next question. This is Bobcat might be interested in this one. Would you rather your favorite TV show have a new season, or your favorite sports team have a 25% chance to win the championship?
Am I starting again?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm not dedicated to any one TV show very much. So I'm definitely going with the championship. 25%.
Are you picking the Seahawks? Or who's your
I think
favorite?
I'd have to.
Mariners. Pick the Mariners.
No, I'm picking the Mariners. No.
Oh, that's the best chance I'll ever have, and you robbed them. you got a mid max.
Very true.
Because the Seahawks, I think, have a decent chance this year, so you could have the double championship.
You might be lowering.
Yeah, I'd be lowering the Seahawks odds.
You might be lowering the Seahawks chance if you give them 25%.
Is this Gino?
How about I'll big brand it and say the Sonics?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That
Once
implies that they come back and win.
I like that.
What do you think, Bobcat?
That's Gino hate. That's Gino hate. 25%.
Did you have an answer to that, Bobcat?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I can say the Sonics, then that would happen automatically.
Well, Sonics are out of the question because they're not a team right now. Yeah.
Then it would be a TV show.
Pick the Storm. You got to pick the Storm.
Kat, you have any TV show in mind? Or?
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen so many. Some would say too many. I wouldn't. I'll have to think about which one.
That'd be a tough choice.
For now, we'll say Arrow.
Oh,
Great
no. There's like 10 seasons out already. You don't need another.
There's only 9. We got to make it 10.
Oh, that's so
True.
greedy. It's so greedy.
I like it.
That's terrible.
Seahawks championship or season 10 of the Arrow?
Another season of cable TV.
Hey, it's amazing. Or if I can get another season with old Jeff for Survivor.
Old Jeff.
More Survivor.
Office with Michael Scott. I'll take that over.
Yeah, that'd be fire.
Or if I could get a 10th season of How I Met Your Mother with a good ending.
Yeah.
I didn't answer the sleep question or the need to, or the sleep question, or if you don't need to sleep.
Go for it.
I would take the $50, but I am curious: is it just a $50 fixed rate, or does it have inflation with it too?
I think it's just a fixed rate, $50. Yeah.
So I mean, it's good now, but in like 50 years or something, and it's like $50 is like, you want a Subway? Here's, it'll be $50 and 95 cents.
If you started making $50 an hour though, and you just invested everything for 5 years,
that's very true. Yeah.
Then you'd be set for life in 5 years.
Yeah, I would still do the 50 per sleep, and then for the 25% chance for a team or a new season of a show, I'd probably go 25% chance on like the Lions or the Browns for a championship.
Whoa, not the Browns!
Wow!
Psycho?
Says the Sean.
No!
Oh my God!
Because they've been so bad for so long.
Who gives a shit?
Well, they need to stay. There we go.
Oh, next question. Oh my. Oh.
All right, next question. The last. Would you rather? Would you rather be able to look at a book and instantly read its contents, or be able to read someone's mind when looking in their eyes? And anyone, feel free to answer.
So I have to ask the person who wrote the questions again.
Okay.
If I can read a book instantly, does that assume that I understand it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so you have basically infinite knowledge, is what you're saying.
I guess so, yeah. Yep.
So, I think I would do that, only because reading someone's mind, that just sounds, it's like a Black Mirror episode. It seems like it's going to backfire. I mean, it just sounds good in theory, but I think in practice could be bad. It's almost like, what is that? Is it Greek mythology about Midas turning everything into gold? Like, sounds good when it first happened, but he didn't even turn his daughter to gold or something, so...
Yeah.
So, gonna have to pass on that. I mean, it's strong power, but...
Yeah, I would do the book reading as well, because... Yeah, I just feel like it's kind of, like, invasive to read someone's mind. I don't know everything, so...
But...
If you spent, like, what... one day going to a library and just consuming every book in the library, like, think about how smart you would be.
Yeah, for sure.
You could actually understand it.
You'd be so smart, but you still wouldn't know what people are thinking. Still, information you don't have.
You've read so many psychology textbooks, though, maybe you could read people's mind.
Yeah.
But the mind reading would help you with dynasty trades.
Oh, it was.
Absolutely. I think it's clear that everyone just wants the easy answers right now.
Whoa.
I wouldn't dare. You got to be able to read people's minds, know the right dynasty moves to make to win those championships. Because that's what it's all about.
But the reading the minds is only for looking through their eyes, right? So when you're on the app, it's not going to help you. You'd have to meet up in person.
That's fine.
Do a video call.
I do that anyways.
A video call.
Bobcat will find you and he'll look in your eyes.
Oh, yeah.
That's what the rookie draft is for.
Bobcat's big braining all these questions.
Exactly.
All right, Bobcat, I don't know if you saw any of the chat today, but there was some chatter about pumpkin pie. Pro or anti?
Pumpkin pie is the best food ever made.
Oh my, yes!
Oh, yeah.
Yes!
It is the best thing that I have ever tasted in my entire life.
I'm with you.
Since I was a child, and forever will be my favorite.
Oh,
I agree 1,000%.
Thank you.
There's no rebuttal to that. Cat just hit a home run right there.
Exactly.
Pumpkin pie's mid. Like, I'll eat it, but I'm not like happy about it.
Oh my!
Yeah, I think it's mid too, but Cat has some strong feelings right there. That was.
I like pumpkin pie, but I prefer apple slightly over it typically.
I eat pumpkin pie once a year, and if it was offered at other times, I'd probably pass.
Whoa. Cat, is this a
That would
major
be your
slander?
mistake.
Is this a major slander right now, Cat?
Is Zane the new Slanderer?
Whoa.
Has he earned the title yet?
Pumpkin pie slander.
The worst
What's worse,
kind.
Ice bashing your fantasy team or Zane bashing pumpkin pie?
Well, what hurts? Pumpkin pie's the best thing ever made, so I think it goes to Zane right now.
Oh man.
Until Clyde takes it back.
Oh, he will soon.
He will. We know this to be true.
He's just warming up.
Oh yeah.
Who will win the title of the Slanderer?
It's a big battle right now, fighting for that title. Let's jump into some fantasy questions. Let's do this question first. What's your favorite fantasy football format? Like redraft, keeper, best ball, dynasty.
This is my first year in Dynasty, I think, like many people in our league, but I think it's, so far at least, it's been the most enjoyable. I feel like it's myself and maybe others feel this way. It's kind of like a drug, just keep coming back, checking the stupid sleeper app.
Yeah.
But it's been fun, yeah.
It's been the most engaging for sure, yeah.
I mean, stating the obvious here, but obviously it's year-round, so I think there's some, value there. It's kind of fun. And even during the season, though, you're, like, rooting for players on your team, like these rookie fifth-round people or whatever that, like, in redraft you don't give a shit about. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I definitely care way more about rookies than I ever did.
As we could tell in Jai's best ball draft last week.
Oh, he got lost in that rookie song.
Yeah, for me, it's dynasty, then redraft, then best ball, then keeper. I thought I would like the idea of keeper, but having tasted dynasty, I feel like it's just a very light version of dynasty, and I think I would like redraft to just be a pure experience, like fresh every year. Yeah. And then best ball drafts are a lot of fun, but once you draft it, I don't find myself looking at my team very much just because I can't change anything with it. So yeah, dynasty.
I hide them all in the app.
Dynasty's been super engaging and lots of fun for me.
Yeah, definitely. And all the constant trades, keeping things spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Constant trades.
Bobcat.
A lot of those this week.
Yeah, did you have a favorite, Bobcat?
I think right now I'd have to say Dynasty.
Yeah.
Just the constant trades. Being able to continually increase my team's value by trading away all of my picks. It's just such a fun journey.
The master tradesman.
Massive trades. Who needs to draft rookies when you have the best team?
Exactly.
Oh my god.
I mean, that's the Fuzz strat, right?
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
The Rams gotta say F them picks.
I'm just joining the party.
You're finding out the optimal strat.
Exactly.
Burg is too, but Klein Zane will always be mystery box boys.
I love the mystery box.
I think they're both sleeping giants right now, but one day they're just gonna, hatch and just go on a tear.
I don't have a ton of picks. It's just kind of standard.
But you have I guess you have a lot of young players. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have Olave.
Oh, he's
Everybody's gunning for him.
Heard a
He's a
rumor
gem lately.
Kelp wants his little slandery paws on that Olave.
Kelp off the draft him in best ball because he ain't gonna get him in dynasty.
Yeah, he will not.
How about
I
this?
won't trade away my best player.
Whoa. You're sweet.
Oh, sorry.
Friends. Big Josh. Don't mind a sweet Josh.
True. What's everyone's opinions on Superflex in Dynasty? Against? For?
I did have a quick question.
Whoa.
Not to derail.
Yeah.
But in the questions you sent out, the first one was, when did you start playing fantasy football?
Yeah, you can
Do
answer
you care
that.
if I answer that one real quick?
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just because I have a kind of a funny story related to it.
Go ahead.
But the first one was in, I think it was mid or early high school, and it was with Chris, Hunter, Christian Buck, and a couple other guys. And I remember the first draft we ever did was like in person and offline draft, I believe. And so I showed up there, and Chris was supposed to be there, and I think he got lost or something, and he never made it.
I got lost.
Wow.
we did the offline draft, and I remember it was like, I don't remember the players we were drafting because this was like 2010 or whatever, but it was like probably the third round or something, like super early. And Chris was on the clock, and I think like Hunter and maybe Steven Hendrickson and like Buck were like picking for him or something. And they're just like, I think you'd really want Kaepernick right here. And they just like overdrafted Kaepernick.
Price.
Overdrafted Kaepernick like, I don't even know, 4 or 5 rounds early. I just remember that was a fun time.
my team was so cheeks that year. I remember because I started coming back from Packwood, and we didn't have any service, and we took a wrong road or somehow, and I think we ended up in like Wenatchee or something.
Wow.
I got lost, so I missed the draft.
You had the Friends auto draft, which is even worse than the computer auto draft.
Oh yeah.
Really bad. My team was stinky.
Was that your first year playing too, Fuzz?
Yeah, it was my first year.
Wow. My first year was, I believe it was 2014. My work was running a league, and I didn't know that much about football at the time. I'd watched some Seahawks, like Russell Wilson, Super Bowl. But I kind of started watching football around 2011, 2012. And so I pretty much only knew Seahawks at that point, and I was like, I'll give it a shot. Turns out it was an auto draft for everybody, so you could set your preferences like, it had like a rankings list, right? And then you could like move it around, but it just autos everybody. And I think I got 4 wins that year. It was a rough year. But then I convinced the league to have a non-pure auto draft, and I started doing well.
Nice.
So for me, it's been a long journey. Started back in 2009. I started off by playing with my brothers, and their like friends and stuff. And then eventually played with some of my friends that were interested, and then brought fantasy football to everyone here as we did our beginning leagues, where I invested in this amazing trophy.
Oh,
Beautiful
yeah.
trophy that I will win this year.
Oh my! I've heard that story every year. Every year I've heard that story.
Let me just go back a little bit. 2011 got second place with this amazing team. I just want you to know this team. You got starting quarterback Tom Brady. Wide receivers. You may not know them all, but you should know the first
this
one.
in 2011? You remember this?
Bobby remembers
Of
the second
course.
place teams.
You got Victor Cruz. Amazing. Mike Wallace. Steelers, anyone? Brandon Gibson. And then 2 of the best running backs this year and only this year. Steven Jackson and Doug Martin.
Doug Martin.
Antonio Gates on the Chargers. Like, just an amazing team.
And your kicker and defense?
Sebastian Janikowski.
Oh my!
Oh, yeah.
And
Your kicker
I
on
had
the
the
second place team 12 years ago.
and I had the Seattle and the San Francisco defense.
Oh, wow.
I also had Russ as my backup quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
What a time we
it
live.
was an amazing team.
And why didn't you win it all? What happened?
You know, my wide receivers let me down that week. Only
you never-
that week.
And you never drafted them again.
Yeah. But everyone else, you know, amazing.
Once a player burns the cat, never again. Like Joe Mixon. The cat. You should tell the backstory behind Joe Mixon.
I never let Joe Mixon burn me because I knew how bad he was. And anyone that drafts him doesn't win because he's Joe Mixon, Mr. Inconsistent.
That's why I drafted him in best ball.
The biggest vendetta.
Yeah, so you'll lose.
Yeah, you got a boat anchor.
So I don't have
you
to
draft
guess
Joe
when he's
Mixon-
going to have a big game.
If you draft him, no matter what format, you're just saying, hey, I want to lose, by the way. It's just the truth.
We'll see.
Preach it.
Not really.
That's why
we already know it to be true.
That's why I got rid of him in Dynasty. The Bobcat was right.
Exactly. Bird made the best move he could have made.
All right, let's move on to back against Superflex and Dynasty. I heard a poop poop from Fuzz, and then Zane, were you gonna answer?
I can answer. Yeah, honestly, I'm pretty open to either. I do really enjoy the way the league is right now, but I can also see the value in kind of moving towards Dynasty. I think it might be a challenge, a little tricky, but I think it could be done if we wanted it done. But again, I have a lot of fun the way it is currently, so I just kind of, as the commissioner, pull the common folk and see what they want.
Yeah, I'm down for whatever. I do think right now the QB is not very valuable. We have these big rosters and one QB slot.
Yeah, I
would
agree
to some,
that.
but there is the 6-point touchdown, so like QBs are really strong. Like the top 10 or whatever are pretty valuable, I think.
Yeah, top 10.
Maybe the top 5, but.
Yeah, those top 5 are nice.
But yeah, I would add a lot of value to the non-top 5 to have Superflex, I think.
I think it sounds good, and this is kind of where I've been a little conflicted on it, is it sounds good in theory. Like all those things you said, like more valuable, more players, and, so some people say the picks get more valuable and whatnot. But, like, the 2 or 3 times that I've done it, granted this is redraft, like I've done redraft Superflex, I actually didn't enjoy it that much. So maybe it would be a little different with the Dynasty context, but...
Yeah. I just know trading QBs would be pretty big in Superflex. Right now, quarterbacks are a snooze, so it's like, some QB, So, Fuzz, what's your thoughts? Because you're kind of poo-poo.
I feel like I'm in the middle, but I feel like it's one of those topics we're going to talk about for the next 3 years and nothing's going to happen. So I think that's why I'm poopy on it. I'm like, I feel like you're trying to please the kelps of the world and the poo-poo farmers. And I feel like finding a happy medium is going to be hard. So I'm kind of like, I kind of like the way it is.
Yeah.
If you get like 10 or so people, though, then
it sounds like Fuzz is doubting Zane as commissioner to get the job done.
Oh, I'd never.
Maybe he is.
I'd never doubt the GOAT.
Zane can fight his way through it, get the job done. Best solution.
It's more that like pleasing kelp and hubs can be difficult.
Amen, brother. Amen.
I think for better or for worse, and I think it's almost a good thing, but the more invested you are, the harder it is to make people happy because they want it to be like the best it can be. So like having people, have strong opinions about certain topics, it's almost a good thing because if you're just indifferent, it's kind of like you're not that invested. It's kind of like a marriage,
Gotcha.
Oh yeah.
No, I feel that. I'm glad people have strong opinions on it.
Yeah.
I also have poopy QB, so I'm a little biased.
This Kyler. Yeah. But I think if we did the Superflex transition, there would be there were some few ideas floating around, like putting the excess QBs into a pool to auction off, things like that. So it could be evened out. So if you have like bad QBs right now, it could even out. Yeah, there's different ways to.
I'm sure we'll talk about it more, but not this off season for sure. We're done with it. I need a break there, but next off season we can talk about it a little bit. And like you said, there were in that poll, and maybe I'll share it next off season. We can kind of use it as a starting point. But there was probably 7 different ideas, so there's a lot of ideas floating around.
Yeah, so we'll have a way where the transition is smooth, regardless if you have good or bad QBs. It's even fair for everyone. Find something.
Yeah, and that's part of it too. Is it's you can make it as fair as possible, but it'll never be 100% fair to every person. So
yeah,
that's just something that you're gonna have to swallow, I think, at some point.
True. Question for Zane. I think Bobcat, Fuzz, and Clive answered it before. What's your biggest dynasty regret in the Dynasty League?
I know this one.
Biggest regret? I think, I think in your last podcast, I was catching some flack for not making a lot of trades. So there's not a lot of fortunately with that, there's not a lot of trades that I regret. But I think if there was anything, it would probably be in the startup draft. I think as far as I know, I think it was everyone's first time doing like an auction dynasty startup, and so everyone was kind of learning. But I think overall I was happy with the way it played out. But if I were to redo it, I just wouldn't. I'd bid on the players that I felt were best rather than trying to bid on trying to complete a roster. I think later on I was like bidding on players that I thought were okay maybe, but I was just like, I really need this position or whatever. And so I think if I were to redo it, I'd just, bid on the players I'm happy with and then trade for holes or whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And did you have like a favorite dynasty move from the past year?
Again, people make fun of me, but there hasn't been a lot. But I think favorite move, reverse Uno. Favorite move is not moving. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with just locking it down.
Yeah, no major blunders,
I think the way I approached the first season, at least, and it was more of a, this is a first time around for me. Let's see how it goes, rather than just jumping into it and like doing stuff that I might regret.
Yeah, right.
And that was kind of my mentality. So like that's why I haven't done a lot of these big player trades or anything, just because.
The easy way.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wait, what did Kat say? I missed it.
Kat said the easy way to play.
Sadly.
Wow, shots fired on the pod live.
I mean, I'll be nice. I won't clap back too hard.
Maybe Zane's patient, Kat. I don't know if Kat is as patient as Zane is.
My patient approach did work out better last year, so I don't know.
Because you still got a good foundation in your team to build off,
And I won more games. So.
Ooh. Whoa.
Well, Bobby has Dak now, though, so it's over.
Who wins more games this year, Zane or Cat?
Of course it's the cat. It's the year of the cat. We all know this to be true.
You don't want to make an enemy with the commissioner, Cat.
I don't make enemies. I win.
What?
Can't argue that one.
The logic is sound.
Pin that in the chat. I don't make enemies. I just win.
Okay, I'll put in there right now.
All right, I'll ask this question to everyone. What's one rule change you would like to see in the Dynasty League, if you can make any rule change you want? Or is the league perfect as is? Yeah, go ahead.
I like it as is currently, but if I were to change something for the future, I would want to potentially throw around an idea of adding uncertainty to tanking. So instead of like, let's say I really want the 101 and I sell off all my quarterbacks, all my running backs, my tight end, even all my wide receivers. Like I'm just selling everything.
Is this
So
Tyler? Is that are you talking about Tyler?
I'm not trying to
You have
talk
anyone in
about
mind when you
anybody
say
here.
this?
But if
But
I did that and I can basically guarantee that I get the 101 unless someone else does it better than me. I would rather there be a little uncertainty, like maybe I don't know, maybe the bottom two, it's like a chain, like in the toilet bowl, whoever wins gets the 101 or something, or I don't know. There's a lot of different things
50-50 coin flip one.
that
bottom two.
that could work too.
Yeah,
So.
I've read some leagues like the bottom 4 or bottom 6 or bottom 4, like they do like a lottery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this with Chris a little bit in the past, just kind of spitballing ideas, and like you could definitely do a lottery system where the last place finisher has a, and then this is where it would get kind of, people might have different opinions, but give them a 60% chance to get the 101, and then they'd give the second to last maybe 20% and then 10, or so you kind of go down the list.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So that in the worse team you are, the higher the likelihood, but it's still not guaranteed.
Right, because
and then you'd also have to decide how many, how far do you go with that? Is it the bottom 3, bottom 4, bottom 5, 6, whatever? So
yeah, it sounds pretty interesting to me.
Cool.
It would be interesting, but it's also, in a lot of situations there is a reason that the bottom team is so bad. So it's like if they could get screwed, and like if the worst team in the league ends up with the 3rd pick, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure people have different opinions on it.
Yeah, it's probably bad in the long run, because I feel like that 101 is your only way out of the abyss. Like that's like if your team is that bad, your only chance to get back in is getting the best player in the draft.
It also probably depends. I'm just guessing here, but on the draft, like this, like in the example this year, like the 101 was worth so much more than the 2, but in other years, I don't know if maybe it's a little bit closer.
Right.
It also probably wouldn't matter nearly as much in a superflex, because you either get like the best non-quarterback or you get the best quarterback if you're, so that there might be a little bit of merit there.
Bro.
Bobcat, did you have any rule change you wanted to see, or just no matter the rules you're going to win?
Well, obviously, but the only thing that I would change would just be how the Tatsy squad works, where it's not only rookies, where it would be like 1st or 2nd year players also on there.
Okay. What is the limit currently, Zane? Do you know how many years?
You can put a player on when they're a rookie, and they can stay on it for 3 years. So the only change that would make would be like you could put a player that was a 2nd year player back onto the Taxi squad. But like I think the premise behind Taxi is that you put them on there one time, and like you can't. The goal is to not have people shuffling players on and off. It's like a long-term development thing.
Right.
So, and then especially once the league continues to roll on, like just every year you draft some rookies, you put a couple on. Like there's not going to be. I can't imagine there'd be that many 2nd year players that you'd want to put on your Taxi squad. And I'm sure there's a couple. But
yeah, I like it just for the rookies.
Yeah.
The only thing that we could and this is something we can talk about in the future too, but like adjusting bench slots and Taxi slots and stuff. Like I'm happy the way it is, but a lot of different dynasty leagues do it differently. Some have smaller benches than we have, some have larger. I don't know. But
our bench size seems pretty good at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the rule change for me, it would be just +1 roster slot, either a flex or a super flex. I'd be down for either of that.
I think next year that's the plan. That was voted on. Unless you mean in addition to the one next year as well.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have 3 flex spots next year. Not obviously not 23, 24. We'll have 3 flex spots, and then if we ever switch to dynasty or a super flex, we'll just turn one of those into a super flex spot.
Yeah, that'll be a smoother transition for sure.
It'll be interesting because Even it sounds like a small change, but we're starting 9, I believe, currently, and adding one more, we'll be starting 10. So that's 12 more players every week that are playing. So it'll make the players that are a little bit worse even more, like a little more valuable, a little more relevant, which I think it'll be a good change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I have another question for everybody. Which team in the Dynasty League is the most underrated going into this year?
I looked at this. I used KTC as kind of like a guide to like make my rating. So like according to KTC, if you look at players plus picks value, I think it has Connor's team at a 6 right now. And I'd say if you're looking at going into this year, I'd say he's probably top 3. So I think if you're using that as a gauge, he's a little underrated. And I'd also say the same for Kelp. I think he's like rated at like 8 right now, and I think he's maybe top 4 or 5 to win this year, in my opinion.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a good fire take. Any underrated teams you cat, or everyone just bad compared to yours?
I think people don't expect as much from me as they should.
So you're the underrated team.
Exactly. And then I think Tim could have some good potential. He's got some Bears on his team now, and I made sure to help him by giving him Mike Evans to increase his potential.
You helped him in that trade?
Yes, of course.
Are you admitting to collusion?
No, I would never.
But you just said that you were helping him in a trade.
It's a perfect win-win. It's just both.
It was a perfect trade. One where I did everything I need.
Might have to give you one demerit.
Whoa, hey. I would never earn one of those.
I think looking at like the KTC rankings with the picks as well, Bakes is number 9, and I think his team has a lot of potential to grow depending on how all those rookies that he picked this year pan out. If he hits on the majority of them, I think his team could take a really big leap forward. Maybe not this year, but in like 1 or 2 years, he could be a pretty strong contender, I think. So I think his team might be a little underrated with the Calcs.
Cool. Fuzz, did you have any team you were thinking is underrated?
I'll probably go with the King Bean.
King Bean, yeah.
Whoa.
I think it's a very solid team. He also has a top 2 quarterback. I think people underrate quarterbacks, like the 6-point passing touchdowns.
Okay.
If you get like 40 points a week from your quarterback, you think you win a bunch of games.
True.
You did carry me last year. My team was Josh Allen and friends, so.
Yeah.
And you also got a bunch of year 2 receivers like Olave and Drake London. Usually they get a lot better, so I think they could be projected for like 14, 15 points a week.
Yeah, I guess for me, I'd say underrated. Maybe Kelp. I don't know. I wouldn't say Connor because I think he's top 3 as his team is. So I wouldn't say Connor's underrated, but Kelp might be a sleeper.
Yeah.
Even Hub's possibly a sleeper as well, I think.
Especially now that Kelp has Kirk Cousins.
Oh, yeah.
Is that another collusion trade?
No. I got Dak, who's way better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen. I don't know if you guys have seen Hunter's team. I think there's a world where he gets like top 4. I mean, he's got a lot of good players on there too.
His team is really good.
I think it depends on what you're using as a basis point, because like I think Hunter finished. What did he finish 5th last year?
Okay.
And like.
Yeah, it's like he wasn't top 4 last year. I guess he was middle of the pack, but this year he might break into that top 4.
Yeah. I think Hunter's team's great.
Yeah.
Farmer's done a good job.
Who do you guys think is the real swindler?
I
think it's pretty clear since he's not here. It's Kelp.
It's
I would go with, and then maybe this is cheating the question, but last year I'd say it was Fuzz. But the last, maybe since like right around the time of the draft, I think he's handed off the title to Kelp.
Oh yeah,
Kelp stole the title. Yeah.
Kelp stole it. Yep. Took some people out back.
Yeah, I think Kelp he didn't know how to do all the traits. He didn't know all the value. But now he's starting to understand and starting to really capitalize.
oh yeah.
It's like a double shot. It's like, yeah, you're bad at trading, and now that you can trade, you're a swindler. The double.
Can't wait till he hears this.
Cat, you wouldn't be referencing that. Cat, you wouldn't be referencing that CD Lamb trade, would you?
Oh, of course not. I'm talking about my trade with him, where I gave him
okay.
3 third-round picks for 2 great running backs.
Gotcha.
Are you starting either one of those players though?
They're still on the team.
Oh, okay. At least one of them's on a team though, right?
What are you talking about? They're both on a team.
Oh, you know what he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
It's a different trade.
Wait, which running backs are they?
Michael Carter and Khalil Herbert, who's starting in my flex.
I got my trades mixed up.
Yeah, those are solid.
For just 3 thirds and Brian Edwards, who he dropped like a week later.
Mm-hmm.
Bobcat's keeping track.
We're starting to get into the...
Was Kelp the OG of trade for a player and then drop him?
He was.
Oh, wow.
Everyone just wasn't paying attention to that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Bobcat,
I'm pretty sure he dropped both of those players within like a week.
Whoa,
Oh, wow.
Uh-oh.
Don't tell
Another collusion?
That's a spicy topic.
He offered the trade. I just said, hey, I'll accept.
Wow.
All right. Which wide receiver do you think is a sleeper going into 2023? Any takers?
I'll go with Jahan Dotson.
Oh.
Ooh.
I think he'll surpass. What's the number 1 guy? What's his name?
He's on your
Scary Terry.
Oh yeah, Scary Terry. I forgot his name.
Terry.
No, I think Terry is like a top 10 talent in the NFL. He just had poopy QBs, but I think Jahan will be like a low end wide receiver too this year.
Okay.
I'll give you a couple. So my non-biased take, I really like Jerry Judy. I think he's got some high upside. As like a year 3 or 4 player now. I think for the rookies, I mean, granted, he was still a first-round pick, but I think Quentin Johnston slept on a little bit. He's a pretty polarizing player, but I think I'm in the camp that he'll be pretty good. And then my bias take, I really like Godwin. I think people have kind of slept on him. He was like a top 3 receiver in 2019.
Chris Godwin.
Top 4 or 5. Yeah, Chris Godwin. And then, the crown jewel, Olave. I think he's going to have a really nice year. And I think he's an interesting player because both him and Garrett Wilson are often compared. And I think right now, a lot of people, or some, I don't know, maybe the majority of people might take Wilson, but last year their stats were almost identical and Olave missed a couple games. So I think I'm a little bit higher on Olave. But again, bias take.
Cly.
Yeah.
Cly is seething.
No, I ran the numbers with Garrett Wilson when he didn't have Zach Wilson throwing to him, and he was on pace for like 1,400 yards. So
the numbers have been crunched.
Because they got Aaron Rodgers now, right?
Yeah. So my sleeper might be a little biased since he's on my team, but it's Jalen Hyatt. He was the 2022 Biletnikoff winner. Jordan Addison was the year prior, which is the best wide receiver in college. And I've heard that he's been struggling a little bit in the camp, and maybe he's just going to have a third string. But I think he has a lot of potential, and hopefully they can find out how to use it. But he gets that separation from what I've seen. So, and he I don't know. He kind of looks like a was that player on the Texans that Deshaun was throwing to?
Fuller.
Speedster. Will Fuller, yeah.
Yeah, he gets comped to him.
He's kind of like Will Fuller with like better hands, I think. That's what I see. So
Cool.
he might not be that good this year, but maybe in a few. I don't know.
I'll throw out Van Jefferson for the Rams. He's wide receiver 2, I think. He's probably pretty slept on, I think, because Rams. People are probably underrating the Rams this year, but
I like that take.
he's going really late in drafts. I'm pretty sure Van Jefferson.
That's a spicy
But
pick. I feel like
Yeah.
that's a really good best ball name. Like if you get him like last round or something, or like
yeah, and if he has like a few games where he gets 15, 20 points or whatever.
he's always had those games too. Yeah, I like that.
Especially if Stafford's around the whole year.
I
Yeah.
hope so.
Bobcat, did you have any underrated?
Yeah, so I got a few. One that I've been trying to get in every draft I can is Wan'Dale Robinson.
Ooh.
I think that he has a very good possibility of becoming that number one option for Daniel Jones. So he's someone that I believe could really is going towards the end in drafts, but can just be such a difference maker. Also, I think Brandon Ayuk has a good chance because San Francisco, they have all these weapons, and somehow they've always managed to feed all the different players there. So I think he could definitely have a really good season. And then, of course, for my team, I think Brandon Cooks, who Fuzz was very generous to gift to me.
Thank you.
I think him with Dak Prescott, that stack is just going to be amazing this year. And I think he's done so well every single year, and now he's on the Cowboys, and I think he can really do well paired with CeeDee Lamb there. So, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I like it. Did you already answer, Fuzz?
Yeah, I think mine's Jahan.
Oh, yeah, Jahan. Nice.
That is true.
Let's go. The last question I had was, who are your NFC and AFC Super Bowl predictions? Anyone have any prepared?
Yeah, mine are AFC Championship, Chiefs versus Jets, and NFC Championship, Eagles versus Hawks. I think Hawks are going to be a top 5 offense this year, and if their defense can hold teams from scoring too much and the offense can go off, I think they could make a playoff run.
Cool.
And I'd love to see the Hawks in the Super Bowl again, but it would probably be more likely for Chiefs versus Eagles rematch Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Ravens Eagles. That's my guess. I think the Eagles could do it again this year. I feel like the roster got even better with the draft. And like they're still like a really good team. I think they'll probably at least get to the NFC Championship. That's my prediction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, their roster's looking pretty scary.
I'll root for Lamar and the Ravens to make it. What about you, Fuzz? Or Cat or anyone?
Yeah, let Bobby go. I'm still in.
So I haven't really thought about this too much. This is just hot take, fresh take.
Oh yeah.
For the AFC, I think the Ravens and the Bengals. I think that could be something that people don't expect, but very likely to happen.
Yeah, I like the Bengals pick. I actually they slipped my mind, to be honest.
And then for the NFC, I think it'll be the Rams and the Vikings.
Why are you going the Rams? That's a sleeper pick right there.
That's a spicy one right there.
Holy spicy.
That is spice.
Because I think Stafford's coming back with a vengeance.
Whoa.
He said, I got hurt. I ain't hurt no more.
I wonder what the Vegas odds are for that. Could get some money if he won that.
Oh, Yeah, but I think the Rams are going to come back this year, do really well, and have that potential to be in that game. Not that it's like for sure, but I do think they have a good shot at it. And I think the Vikings, with having Jordan Addison, another year with JJ, I think they have a very good shot about going far with Kirk Cousins.
Cool.
Some spice. I'll go 49ers, Bills.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, I think the Niners, but their biggest question is quarterback. So you think they'll figure it out?
I don't know if they have to figure it out. I just think if most of their players stay healthy, you can just throw anybody back there. You can throw one of us back there. You can probably win games. With the Bills, I think them James Cook year 2, even though he's stinky, and then Damian Harris, and if they have better flow on their offense and not throwing so much to Gabe Davis.
Yeah. I'm lower on the Bills now because they got just smoked by the Bengals last year. I'm like, these guys look lost. I mean, I don't know, maybe they figure it out, but they got destroyed by the Bengals.
I think the Bills will.
I feel like everyone can have a down game, though. That's the beauty of the NFL.
True.
I mean, they still won 12 or 13 games.
I'm high on the Bills. I just think their whole offensive strategy was kind of bad.
Yeah.
They got that intermediate guy now, Dalton Kincaid. So they gotta be hyped.
And Khalil Shakir.
Wait,
I pulled up some
favorite.
Oh, go ahead, Clyde.
Oh, I pulled up some odds for the Super Bowl, and VegasInsider.com. I don't know how reliable, but it has 5 different. It has DraftKings, FanDuel. There's 5 different ones. So it has Chiefs, Eagles, Bills, Niners, Bengals, Cowboys, Jets, Ravens, and then
Jerry Jones just pays off the odds makers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cowboys.
I was gonna say for Fuzz, he should have had Sam Darnold Super Bowl champ with the Niners.
I could see it.
Super Bowl MVP.
Sam Darnold.
He's the best thrower that Shanahan's had.
Wow.
No, not my Trey Lance.
I wouldn't surprise me if Darnold's suiting up week 1.
Yeah.
Trey Lance is cooked.
No. I know.
Yeah, he's a bust right now unless he turns it around.
I know.
Why?
There was some social media post I saw. I think it was today or yesterday, and it was showing I think the Niners gave up 3 first-round picks to get him, and with those 3 first-round picks, the Dolphins got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Bradley Chubb.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big.
I gambled on Trey Lance because I had also heard that they had given up so much to get him, and I thought, surely they're gonna, stick with him if they give enough this much for him. But
that super flex talk got you feeling spicy.
I may have gambled a bit on the super flex too.
It could still pan out for sure.
It could.
But will it?
That's the question.
Nobody knows.
Bobcat knows.
Exactly.
What's gonna happen, Cat?
He's not going anywhere.
Like
on the bench?
where's he going? He's not going anywhere.
He's just sitting there, being like, "Oh, do I get to play? No, cool."
Well,
What if he goes to Washington or something?
They don't want him.
I don't know.
They've got Sam Howell.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Way better.
who has a better
Hot
career,
take.
Sam Howell or Trey Lance, Bobby?
Sam Howell.
Baker Mayfield or Trey Lance, Bobby?
Baker.
Oh boy.
Baker's had a great career, right, Kat?
Yeah.
Yeah, Will Levis or Trey Lance?
Oh, but Will Levis owns Fuzzy's name, so I have to say Will Levis. Otherwise, I probably would go Trey Lance, but he just has so much power.
That's true.
Any more questions, or does that?
That's all the questions I had. If you guys have any final thoughts, also I'll just close it out. Open mic.
Thanks for having me on the show. Been
Sure.
fun.
Yeah, thanks for joining, Zane. And actually, I'll say regarding the podcast, it's just league community driven. Whoever wants to host or have one, feel free. And you just send the audio to Kelp. He can upload it. Or if you want to be on one, coordinate with Kelp or something, or me. But we're also trying to have everyone on the pod, Try to get everybody on here.
Yeah, I think it sounds like there's a lot of interest in the chat, so I'm sure a lot of people will want to do it. And
Sounds
I'd love
good.
to do it again sometime, so.
Cool. Sounds good. All right.
Thanks for hosting, Berg.
Sure. All
Yeah,
right.
thanks for hosting.
Yeah,
That's
thanks for hosting. It was fun.
Yep. Thanks everyone for joining.